Why is BTS overrated? I see this statement everywhere I look, all over the place. Why is BTS overrated? Whenever I see this topic, the main topics I see under it are that they are sellouts, they miss the old BTS music, that they only have female teen girl stans, which, like, nothing wrong with a female teen girl stan, but that's just not their only fans. Let's be realistic here. And secondly, why is there such a bad connotation towards female teen fans? That's something you need to reevaluate to yourself if you take that as an insult, because that shouldn't be an insult. It shouldn't be an insult. And I hate, you know, the narrative that we always try to pull away from the whole teenage fangirl thing, because realistically, when I got into BTS, I was a teenage fangirl, period. There still is people who are teenagers that like BTS, period. So let's not hate on them, okay? BTS doesn't write their music anymore. BTS only does English songs. What else? BTS only is meant to sell products and product lines. BTS lip sings. So why do people think BTS is overrated? I feel like this is just something that people do when someone's popular. It's happened to all the greats, and anybody's overrated to people who don't like the music. And that's just the go-to, and they nitpick and nitpick every little aspect of it. So I, as a long-standing BTS fan, has thought, well, why do people think BTS is overrated? And how can I help to educate them to understand that no, honey, the stuff that you are saying is incorrect. So to make sure that I talk about every point that I wanted to talk about in this video, I have made a beautiful checklist on my notes. So we're just gonna go through each of the topics that I wrote in regards to why people think that BTS are sellouts. We'll start with that. Sellouts. So the main argument that people have within the K-pop community towards why BTS are sellouts is because of the fact that they started doing English music, which is something that BTS themselves a few years ago has stated that they weren't going to do. So when they did do it, people were pulling up clips of Namjoon stating that he wasn't going to do it and using that as a way to say that they are sellouts. Now, however, if you watch the clip, Namjoon stated that he was not going to make a full English album. I want to say Korean English album, okay? And if I think correctly here, Dynamite, Permission to Dance, and Butter were not full albums. They were singles. And I know that there was like an album for Butter, but it was literally Butter and Permission to Dance. That's 2 songs. I don't know if 2 songs count as an album. Maybe they do. But to me, they don't. It started like back in 2020, you know, during the pandemic, and BTS themselves have stated that they brought out Dynamite mainly because of the fact that Dynamite was just meant to be an uplifting song to like get people's spirits up because of the fact that we were living in a goddamn pandemic. We were in a panoramic, okay? And we needed the good times, we needed the good vibes. So they came out with Dynamite. I don't see a problem in that. However, I think the issue that people have is that Dynamite had evolved into Butter, which then evolved into Permission to Dance. So at this point, it's starting to feel like BTS was coming out with just English hits. Mind you, there was a whole album between Dynamite and Butter. You know, there was a whole album. Life goes on. So it just, the timeline is not timelining, okay? And my reasoning behind why I think that making English music does not equal out to being a sellout, because let me be realistic here. I got into K-pop not because of the fact that a group was singing purely in Korean. I don't speak the Korean language, so to me, a song being in Korean was not the end all be all for me as to why I got into a group. I personally liked a group because I liked their music and I liked the members. So for me, an English song is actually a good thing because that just means I don't have to sit there memorizing some lines. I could just enjoy the song for what it was and be able to sing every single word from the get-go. Whereas usually when a Korean song drops, it's like I have to sit there and think, okay, let me figure out these lyrics, let me do that. So it was nice as an English fan to have an English song, and I think that the main reason they did it was that we were in a panoramic, okay? We were in a pandemic and we needed good times, and BTS knows that they have a very high English speaking fan base, and it's not just the Americas, it's also other parts of the world where people speak English and another language, and English just happens to be predominantly the language of many countries and a language that many people understand. So it was just the right choice. And I think because of such the good like feedback that they got because of Dynamite, then of course they're gonna make more English tracks, because they're like, oh, you know, everyone loved it, it did well in the charts. They got charting in radio stations for the first time, which is amazing. They got even more exposure to people who wouldn't have listened to their music in just Korean, but became fans of BTS because of the English tracks, and were able to transition over to Korean music, and weren't scared to do so, because a lot of people are afraid to transition over. And so it opened up the doors for not just for BTS, for K-pop as in general. I mean, I know so many people in my life who knew the song Dynamite, who knew the song better, and mainly because of the fact that it was being played in mainstream media. And I don't believe that is a sellout move. I think it was just a move that they did, and they're continuing to do, because it's doing well. It is a recipe that is doing well. Next topic we're going into, my friends, is the one that I love a lot to talk about, is music genre, music, BTS's music. It considerably the whole notion and narrative of I miss the old BTS. The whole I miss BTS thing is so overplayed, and we've seen it everywhere. And to that I have a few things to say. I have been a BTS fan since the year 2014, so I have been following them for a very long time. I loved their music. I love everything that they came out with every time, because I feel like it evolved with the time, which is where I'm trying to get to. A lot of people claim that they miss the old BTS because they miss the rap, hip-hop influence, and BTS has steered more towards a pop influence, which listen, what makes me think that a lot of the times these comments are based off the songs that are the single is because the single usually fits towards what is popular at the time, which was the hip-hop influenced music. But if you listen to the full album for what it was, there was a lot of pop influence in there as well. And so as BTS evolved, you know, they did more singing pop with also rap music, and they kept this going on for multiple albums. And even in their most recent album, there is hip-hop songs influence in their songs. So whenever people say that they miss the old BTS, it confuses me, because their music is still similar to what it was at the start. And if we move away from the basics of music towards the fact that there is two components to liking a group, which for me, you know, obviously it was music, but I'm gonna be honest, a lot of the reason that I fell in love with BTS was because of the members of BTS, and that's why I continue to support them till today. You know, like, I love each and every one of them and the music that they put out. A lot of the reason why people like to discuss the change of BTS's music genre, and a lot of where the I miss BTS comes from, is the fact that they like to discuss lyrics. A lot of people are upset about the English songs because of the fact that they're like, oh, these lyrics aren't meaningful like typical BTS songs. And I mean, I can see where people come from with that statement, you know. I mean, obviously butter ain't no life goes on, right? But I think that where the issue arises is that sometimes some songs are just meant to be a good time. They don't always gotta be deep. They don't always gotta make us wanna cry. Sometimes they're fun. And to the next people who say that BTS songs like Butter and Dynamite aren't that bitch, tell that to their Grammy nominations. Honestly, actually, we don't like the Grammys in this household. I don't know why people think that having a Grammy is a validation of the fact that your music is good or not, but some people do. So I mean, use that argument with what you will, but Grammys is known for being xenophobic and just hating on everybody that isn't a specific mold that they want, and people tend to get snubbed left, right, and center regardless of how amazing their careers are. So don't ever state that, you know, the worth of an artist is within their Grammy and their Grammy nominations. But with that said, they got Grammy nominations, bitch. So one now. One now. I remember getting in a heated argument with somebody because they were like, yo, sure, yeah, BTS, blah, 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 but they ain't ever gonna get a Grammy nomination. Well, what now, bitch? They got number 2. Well, you want to talk? What your fave doing? We want to talk? Still hate you with Grammys. You're a bitch. You know, BTS came out in 2013. If you're a fan of them then, and then you're listening to their music now, maybe, you know, with age, your music taste changes. I noticed that the older I was getting, the more I was disliking a certain music style that I used to like, you know. And I think that it's normal for your music taste to change throughout the years. It means growth, and that, you know, you have different tastes. So maybe you liked the style of music that BTS was doing in the beginning, and maybe the music that they're doing right now is not really your style. I mean, I love BTS a lot. Like, my ride or dies, I would literally do anything for them. But I'm not afraid to admit that there's some songs that I'm not a fan of. And I think that maybe that's where the issue comes from, where like we have to think that we have to love every single song to like our core being, when realistically that's not the case. Like, you cannot love every single song, and if that was the case, then you would be listening to every single song consistently. But there's favorites, you know, there's an album, you listen to it and you will have favorites in that song, in that album, and that's okay. And you'll have songs in the album that you probably aren't gonna listen to as much as the other ones, and probably aren't gonna listen to past the fact of you hearing it for the first time. But that doesn't mean that you don't like the group. And BTS continues to evolve and change their genre, because let's be honest, I've had artists that I have loved and I've dropped because of the fact that I got bored with them, because every song sounds the same as the last song. So as people who are fans of people, we like to see progression and change and diversity in their music, because that's something that just is exciting, you know. It's exciting when like I hear a BTS song and I'm like, oh my god, this sounds like a rock song. Or if I hear a BTS song and it's a full rap song, or if I hear a BTS song and it's hella bubblegum pop and I'm just having my best time, living my best life. Like, I want all of those emotions, because when I go to a concert, I want to experience all of the emotions and all of the different genres and all the different types. I could go on and on about the topic as to why people like to say that BTS is overrated, but this video would be like 20 years too long. So if you are interested in more, then I could for sure make it part 2. I also do have other topics that I want to discuss regarding BTS. So if you would like to subscribe, that way you know when I come out with those videos, that would be great. I just want to post these types of videos weekly where I discuss a topic and we talk about it, just all of us, a little powwow, little discussion together. And yeah, if you ever want me to talk about other topics that aren't BTS but are within the K-pop world, then I can do that as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, press like. And if you're new here, please subscribe, and I'll see you soon for some more BTS. Bye.